Thank you so much, Taylor. In review, Taylor was working on side hustles for 4+ years. Started doing things for friends. Like they say, like, would you help me with this? Would you help me with this? Eventually, she started to monetize it, start charging, and got to the point where she actually could go after real clients that would provide her a salary or at least like a good amount of money to jump all in. She recommends, at least when you go salary-wise, to jump in and use a retainer. Because a retainer allows you to work quicker but still make the same amount of money. So you're actually being more effective than charging hourly. Hi, I'm Ryan Vasso with the Venture College, a program within the College of Innovation Design at Boise State. The Venture College helps students and community members launch their ideas beyond the classroom and turn those ideas into startups, lifestyle businesses, side hustles, and other ventures. With the COVID-19 situation, we know that more and more people in our community and throughout Idaho, beyond just students, will be looking for ways to generate extra income. That's why we've started the Side Hustle series. We will be talking to successful entrepreneurs about starting and growing side hustles that can be done from just about anywhere in the world. If you're interested in learning more or need some help, contact us at venturecollege@boisestate.edu or go to our website to learn more. Also, watch out for our social media accounts for the next installments of the Side Hustle series.
Wait.
All right, hello everyone. I'm here with Taylor Walker from What to Win Media, and Taylor, thanks for joining us. So everyone knows, like, what's your business right now?
So my business is primarily copywriting and public relations and earned media. I do a hodgepodge of other things on the side, though. I do food photography, some product photography, some social media management. So it's a little bit of everything.
Just all over the place. Well, how'd you get started? I mean, it sounded like this was a side hustle at the beginning. Can you tell us about those early days?
Yeah, it was. It was a side hustle for a really, really long time. I have kind of a background that lends itself to all of these different pieces. So I'm currently a photojournalist in the Air Force, and that's how I got a lot of my photography training and some of my journalism training. I was also the public information officer for Idaho Commerce, and that's where I got a lot of like media know-how. I worked in communications for AT&T for 10 years. And that's where I learned a lot of kind of those corporate communications and pieces like that.
So were you doing side hustles during this time, or was it just like pure, like normal professional?
I've always
corporate?
kind of done some side hustles. So there's little bits and pieces of each of those jobs that I had that I was really good at. And I'd have fellow coworkers or friends or whoever identify those things and say, hey, I know you're a really good writer. Would you be able to help me with XYZ? And sure, yeah, I'll help you with that. Or I know that you like to do things on Instagram. Would you help me with? And so after a while, I started keeping track of all of the, would you help me with moments?
Sure.
And kind of realized like, oh, dang, like I'm getting asked to do these things a lot. Why don't I just like do it for real and like structure it a little bit and make it into a side hustle business that I can potentially grow.
With the would you help me moments, originally, were those more like just helping out a friend? You weren't charging?
Yeah, they were. They started with just helping out a friend. And then every once in a while, I'd get a stranger like reach out to me on Instagram and say, hey, I don't know how to do this. Seems like you're good at it. What would you charge? And then I would just kind of like pull a number out of thin air because I don't know what I'm doing.
Sure.
And then propose it. And they'd say, yeah, okay, that seems fair. And then I would celebrate and then I would do it. And so it turned into, you have a few clients and then they refer you to other people and so on and so forth.
Awesome. So at what point, like, did you start transitioning from side hustle to, okay, I'm going to go all in on this?
So it was when I started getting some interest from clients that could potentially be like a salary level client. And also to where, I didn't want to work 40 hours a week in an office and then work 40 hours a week at home. Also, I was like, I want to do one or the other.
Yep.
I was always kind of set on that. And through networking with my old jobs, I found a few clients that I felt like I could get that level of work. And I asked them and they said, yeah, I'd be interested in that. And then it kind of gave me the confidence to take the leap.
Gotcha. And for those clients, was that residual work, like month over month, you knew you'd be doing stuff, or was it kind of a lot of projects?
Yeah, it was. So when I first started out, I would do like hourly because that seemed fair to me, right? Like whatever time I put in, that's what you pay me for.
Yep.
But this year, since I've kind of gone out on my own, it occurred to me that as you keep doing things, you get better at it, right? Like you practice it and it
Sure.
might not take you as long. So I'm not going to charge you less because it took me less time because I'm better at it.
Sure.
So now all those clients are on retainers, and that's how I structure my work now. And if you're doing something that's service-based, whether it's like social media management or you're writing or you're pitching or marketing or designing or whatever, retainers are really helpful because like I said, you're going to keep getting better. And that means you're not necessarily going to spend as much time on it. And you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot by charging hourly. And you don't want to have to keep jacking up your rates just to justify that.
So how do you work that with the client? Like, okay, so let's just say hypothetically you have a retainer, it's $1,000 a month and I'll do XYZ services. Is it more based on, is the pricing associated towards the actual services? Like I'll do X amount of posts, or is it more like results oriented? Like I'll get you X amount of visits or X amount of views. Does that make sense?
Yep, that does make sense. So remember the majority of the work that I do is copywriting.
Okay.
And I do a little bit of like video production and I do a little bit of social media management. But the way I structure it is I just say, these are all of the services that I can provide to you. And I'm basically on call. And this is how much I'm going to charge you per month. And some months I do like no work for that person because like, this is a great time for me, like
Sure.
as an example, right? Because nobody's doing anything. And some months I'm doing a ton of work for the client. So it's not necessarily specific deliverables. It's more just like, these are all the services and you have me here to pull me in for all of those things. You don't have to go find someone. You don't have to try and figure it out. You can just say, hey, I have this coming up. What do I do? And I'll do it.
So how do you manage it? Like they don't like they're not asking too much. Like they're robbing you of your time because they give you too many assignments.
So with some clients, I put an hourly max on it.
Okay.
And then I'll have like anything more than 50 hours and I charge this, or anything more than whatever and I charge this. I haven't had anybody go crazy though. And I think it's just because I've built like a rapport with my clients and they know the kind of work that I do. And I think they don't want to take advantage of that. So I really find my clients to be kind of like family. And I make it a point to, if I start working with someone and I think they're going to be a pain, like I identify that really quickly and I get rid of it because I didn't go out on my own to deal with that.
Sure, no, that's great.
So I keep clients around that I like, and I think they do the same, and it makes it a little bit easier.
Do you think the clients you're getting is because you pick like a specific niche? Like, do you market yourself like a specific angle, or is it just more of like the networking effect that they're happy with you so they refer you?
It is just been networking.
Okay.
It's really strange. So I have like my three main clients. One of them is a city. One of them is a big player in the agricultural industry. And one of them is a nonprofit for adaptive
You're all over the
athletes.
place.
Yeah, it's super weird. And then I also, like I said, I do like food photography. I do like blogs for a skincare company. And so I really, instead of being specialized in like one area, I have really focused on, I want to work with people that I like, because like I said, I didn't go out on my own to work with people that I hate. Like, why would I do that? Like, I'm running my own business. I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing. So if I like those people, I'm going to work hard for them. And if they're like, hey, can you do this? And I have no idea what that is, I'll figure it out because I like them.
Gotcha.
And that's really been what has made it rewarding for me and what's made it easy for me to have tough conversations and like want to get out of bed and keep doing it. So that's kind of my like level.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Was there any surprises or kind of unknowns from going from like a side hustle to your full-time job, other than just obviously the risk of there's no safety net, but any other unknowns that you didn't expect?
Yeah. I would say my two main ones, and these might sound so frivolous, but the first one is I thought working from home would be easy. And I don't feel as bad saying that now because everybody's going through it. And all
Sure.
these people who were like, I want to work from home are like, this is the worst.
Sure.
And it's not, it's just not. And the other thing was taxes suck, man. Like when I first started out, I thought that I was charging a rate that made sense. And then because I kind of started at the end of last year, I experienced a a little bit of a tax cycle. And I was like, oh, okay, now I understand why people charge more. And so getting some of those things fleshed out ahead of time is really helpful, especially when you're trying to figure out how to set rates or that sort of thing.
Do you have any tools or like places to go for resources for that?
So I like live and die by my QuickBooks Self-Employed app. Like
Okay.
I can literally track just everything. If I get in my car and go somewhere, it'll be like, hi, did you go this place for business? I'm like, I
Yep.
sure did. And so it makes it really simple.
Sure.
That's probably my main one.
Oh, that's
from, like,
good.
a
Yeah.
money
Usually there's like
standpoint.
one or two go-to tools.
Yeah.
How about on the copywriting side? Any tools that you use to kind of help you with your business?
Yeah. So my main things are like focus-based and getting work done, which is, like I said, really hard at home. So I use like a focus timer, just to stay on task. I think it's actually just called Focus Timer. It's just like an app.
Okay.
And there's another app called Focus Mate, that you can also just access online. And it's basically like this, like what we're talking now.
Yep.
But you log in and it's a stranger who's also working at that same time. And you say, hi, I'm working on this. And they say, cool, I'm working on this. And then you just go silent and you work,
cool.
and it's like somebody's watching you work. So you're like forced to work. So little things like that to help keep me on track. But also I have a group of like freelance friends that I, make it a point to check in with, like, hey, what's everybody working on? We help hold each other accountable. Because when you're working by yourself, and even when you're just doing it as a side hustle, it's hard to stay accountable like you would in an office. And so having those people that you can check in with that are doing similar jobs, it's really important to have that network.
Makes sense. Just two last follow-on questions. Originally, you talked about like you were doing side hustles, what felt forever. Like, can you put a time ranger on that? Like, how long were you doing side hustles before you jumped in?
So I'm sorry, my dog.
No, you're good. Totally fine.
So I've been doing side hustles for a few years. So I feel like I have always been writing for someone, always been like managing somebody's social, always been taking pictures for people. And I think that it just kind of depends on how much time you want to dedicate to it. But it's definitely been a few years. Even, I would say even longer. I would say like 4 years. Because even when I lived in Atlanta, I had like a dog walking business as a side hustle. And so it's nice to have something just to do, and it helps you figure out what you like.
Sure. And I guess that was my last follow on. Were you always doing this just for like, just extra side income? Was it always the end goal to be working for yourself? Like, where was your mind at?
It was never the end goal to work for myself. I thought that I was going to like join the Air Force and work there for 20 years and retire. Thought I was going to like work for the government for like forever, or work for AT&T for forever. And then I sort of feel like it all just came together. And I had a friend that kind of pushed me to say, hey, you're doing well. You should just try it. It's really scary. And then you try it and it's fine. It was never my end goal. It was never my goal to make money doing it. It's just kind of, sometimes it's nice to do something that's out of the norm. That's not your 9 to 5.
Totally.
And then once you do that enough, you realize like, maybe I can make this a thing, and you charge a little bit, you charge a little bit more, and then you kind of dive on in, and it is very scary for a while, but then it ends up being totally fine. So that's sort of the route I took. It was completely unexpected, but very, very rewarding.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Taylor. In review, Taylor was working on side hustles for 4+ years. Started doing things for friends. Like they say, like, would you help me with this? Would you help me with this? Eventually, she started to monetize it, start charging. And got to the point where she actually could go after real clients that would provide her a salary, or at least like a good amount of money to jump all in. She recommends, at least when you go salary-wise, to jump in and use a retainer, because a retainer allows you to work quicker but still make the same amount of money. So you're actually being more effective than charging hourly, because as you continue to do repetitive tasks, you're only going to get better. So don't lose money on that skill set. And instead of going in with a specific niche, she actually did the exact opposite, which is do many services and offer different types of services. But ultimately, her goal is to be able to like work with people that she likes, and clients that she really wants to form a relationship with. So thank you so much, Taylor, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. While you're waiting for the next episode, feel free to contact us or follow us on social media.